Welcome to A Women's Brew, where women talk about beer. It's that generous time of year yet again where we highlight charity brews, breweries, and bars giving back to the community. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori,
Hello.
and we're two beer loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us.
So, I feel like we have to address the elephant in the room.
We do, if you're watching the video.
This is literally, we do this more often. This has happened numerous times with glassware, shirts, whatever. Did not speak to each other in advance.
No.
And we are literally wearing the same t-shirt.
We're wearing our pink Coven t-shirts. Like, I mean, I don't know what your thought process was, but I was just like, I'm gonna go put my Coven t-shirt on.
Yeah, I wasn't wearing it today.
No, I wasn't wearing it.
I went and I changed into it.
I was wearing my Fight Like a Girl t-shirt at work today, and I was like, I'm gonna go put this on because, you know, not only is the Coven amazing, and if you're not following them on Instagram, you should. I'll put it in the show notes. But we raised money through our Brave Noise beer with Mirakai to help them fund wellness officers for festivals. So I felt this was
it felt like the
t-shirt.
For me, it felt like the most charitable shirt that I had. So I was like, yeah, let's go with that. So I'm just gonna regale you with like a really sad story. I mean, you already know it, but to everyone else that doesn't know it. So I bought one of two t-shirts. This is the one that She's Delicate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh no,
mine's different. So mine is.
This is the Mayor Roy's Wing.
Yeah, this is the Brewer's Prayer one.
Yeah. So I've got this one. I love it. But I also had the one that was She's Delicate, not like flowers,
but like unfermented sugars.
Yes. And I fucking love that top. It was, so this one's the tie-dye one. The other one was just plain pink. I brought that to Greece with me.
Oh, it was in the suitcase.
It was in the infamous suitcase that's been missing. So I haven't even tried to look if I can replace it, if I can buy it again in my size. But I know that they went the last time Pip got stock in, they went out of stock really, really quick. So I'm really sad about it. It's fucking sucks. RIP to one of my. I wore that so much out there as well, and it looked really good tucked into my high-waisted shorts, and it was great. I wore it somewhere. I think I wore it somewhere, and someone was like, "Oh my god, I love that shirt," and I was like, "Thank you." And now it's, I don't know, anyone's guess about where it is in the world is as good as mine. It's probably on an auction site somewhere for someone that doesn't even understand what the shirt is. No. They're going to get my bag and they're literally not even going to know what it means. They're just going to be like, cool, a t-shirt. Like, great. I at least hope that whoever gets it is going to someone that doesn't have a lot of clothes.
Yeah.
And that needs the t-shirt. That needs a badass bitch in pink t-shirt.
Yeah.
Really sad. And fingers crossed I can replace it, but I've just been too sad to even really look at anything. So that's been the news for me. However, in the spirit of charity, what I do want to say is oh my god, thank you so much to Wild Weather, because I messaged them being like, guess what else is in there? My white cephalopod shirt was in there. And I've got the black cephalopod shirt, and if anyone has read anything that I've posted or anything like that, that is literally my favorite shirt. Fits me like a glove. And so I was really gutted when the white one was gone, because I was like, that's the perfect summer brewery shirt because it's light coloured and it's just great. I feel cute in it. It's brilliant. But obviously that was in the bag as well. So I messaged them knowing that they were getting rid of the last of their stock. And I was like, I don't think they've got any left. So I messaged them do you have any mediums left of the white shirt? I know that you were very, very low to none. And they happened to have some left, and they were very kind enough to just give them to me.
Oh, love you.
They were like, we are getting new stock in of t-shirts, so you can just have this. We don't know, we were debating what to do anyway. So we know that you love it. We know you love the shirt. So here you go. Here's the shirt, and here's a backup for the shirt. Thank you so much. It was incredibly generous. I felt like that was a really good way to sort of start this episode, with generosity and just giving back. That is just a really nice thing. I ended up buying beers from them, even though I was like, I really genuinely don't need more beers. But if you're not going to let me buy the shirt, I'll buy the beers. It's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was.
It all works out in the end.
Yeah, it was nice because now I've got like that one was like literally my favorite. My elusive one was in there as well, and they literally only had an XL left, so I bought the XL, and I'm just gonna have to figure out how to magic it and turn it into something that fits a little bit better, because it's a V-neck. It obviously doesn't like sit where it's big enough on me. It doesn't sit in the way that it should, so it didn't fit me like my original one did. But I don't think they're getting any more V-necks in, so I just bought it, and I was like, I'll just have to figure out how to make it work. If anyone's got the skills to.
I do.
Yeah, I know you do, but I didn't want to ask you to do it because I already asked you to brew beers for me.
That's fine.
So if you could turn it into a crop top for me, or I don't know, make it look really good somehow to fit me, I'll be really happy. But
the next time we'll look at it and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you for your generosity, Jo. That is 2 actions of generosity down and a whole episode to go. So I'll let you sort of kick things off, I guess.
Yeah, so we're looking at a few beers. There are quite a few charity beers out there, but we've picked a little selection for you today in case you're not aware of some of these. We've already cracked open because it's only Tuesday, but it's been a week for both of us already. Although this one is alcohol free. We cracked open our Cloudwater soda that they did in support of Endometriosis UK, and this is the blueberry, pear, and ginger one. I'm enjoying it. It's lovely.
Yeah, so they partnered up with Root to Ginger, which is a Manchester-based company that specialises in ginger drinks, and it's just a really lovely colour. Like it's just this very deep ruby colour.
I didn't really read what kind of soda it was, and when you were drinking it, I'm like, what's she drinking?
It looks like a sour almost.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be this colour, but it is beautiful.
When you just look at it, it's beautiful, and it poured with this like gorgeous like beetroot coloured head.
Yeah, it's kind of if you're watching the video, it's kind of clinging to my glass and you can see it.
Oh, it was just lovely. And I knew that it said ginger on it as well as the blueberry and pear, but for some reason when I went to smell it, like you look at it and you think your brain thinks one thing, and then you go and smell it and it's very ginger, like very ginger. But actually I found that it was very, very ginger, but with this like fruity undertone to it, probably from the blueberry and the pear, that made it so interesting.
Yeah, it's not like really like hot ginger, if that makes sense. Like sometimes you have gingery things and you're like, oh, hello. This is
I wrote that on my notes.
Nicely balanced.
I wrote that in that it's not too spicy, like not spice, but it's not too spicy.
Yeah,
especially in taste as well. It's quite like, it's very ginger first and foremost, but it's very like smooth, very subtle. I've had so many Cloudwater sodas before as well, and they all tend to look like literally a glass of juice.
Yeah,
I know some people don't like Cloudwater sodas. I really do like Cloudwater sodas. So I was really excited to try this one because it's a bit interesting, and just really weird to look at it and then smell it and taste it, even when you know what's in it, because it just doesn't.
It totally just looks like I'm drinking a sour, a really delicious sour.
It doesn't taste like a sour.
Well, no, it doesn't taste like a sour.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, you're right. It's not sour, but it does remind me of drinking a sour without the tartness.
I think for me, like the taste itself, I feel like would be for me more akin to drinking like, I don't know, the mouth feels a bit different, but like it doesn't have that tartness. It doesn't hit in the same way like the sour does, but maybe something that's a bit more like farmhousey, but not as funky.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Because you got that spiciness to it.
Yeah, and it's just really complex, really interesting, and I don't know. It's a really good one. It's probably worth noting as well, this is not the first time that we've done a charity episode as well. So like we know there's this massive exhaustive list of breweries and beers themselves that are charity. We've covered a whole bunch of them. I mean, you hear us talk about Brave Noise literally like all the time, and we're still going to keep talking about it. We'll probably mention it today.
We already did.
We literally already did. Yeah. But I think, this is by no means like the stuff that we talk about today is by no means like the only charity beers that are out there. It's just what we've covered in the moment. And I did try to even dig out I tried to ask around to see if anyone had a list, because I know for like Brave Noise, you can go on the website and you can get an exhaustive list of who's doing Brave Noise. And for International Women's Collaboration Brew Day, which we'll talk about in a minute for obvious reasons, the Crafty Beer Girls had a whole list of like everyone that was brewing one and, you know, where you could get it, what it was called. So I wasn't sure if there was something similar for charities in the UK. And I've not been able to find an organised list. So it's just had to be a Google and suggestions job. So I think someone needs to make one. Maybe I need to make one.
I suppose maybe it changes quite frequently, doesn't it?
Oh, of course. But I think it'd be interesting to have like anytime someone's brewed one to like put it on there. And then after a set amount of time, you can just clear the list. I don't know, after a year, every year, put a new one on there. And then, yeah, even if you can't get it anymore, at least people know what was out there. Because I don't know about you, but for me, even if a beer isn't a charity beer, if a brewery has in the past supported charities that I care about, I still want to support them, even if they're doing it with something that's not a charity beer, because for me, that makes them good people in my book. So it'd just be good to know who's doing charity stuff and who's like, who you should support, really.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
It's been a long day. If we miss anything or get anything wrong, find it in your hearts to be kind and generous and just be nice to us.
Be charitable to us today.
We're still trying to get that content out there for you and enjoy these beers while also being very tired and very in need of the beer, but not so much great with the words right now. So Joe, I'm going to let you start things with this beer that we're drinking, or the non-beer that we're drinking.
Right. So this came in a pack. So when I got this, and I think you got this way too, I got this from Cloudwater in their International Women's Collaboration Brew Day pack. And it came with...
it was a coffee oatmeal porter.
With a coffee oatmeal porter.
Called A Herald of Change and Disruption.
There you go. And that was with Girls Who Grind. We love a bit of Girls Who Grind. That's who ours was with as well.
Yes, we did use Girls Who Grind for
coffee.
Us.
They got around this International Women's Collaboration Brew Day. Well done, ladies.
I think they're definitely getting like more known, especially for like having their stuff added into beer, because they are really good. We've talked about them before. We've highlighted them before. We've done the coffee episode, actually, I think it was. So go back and listen to that, because we do talk about them on there. And I think we've talked about them numerous times, and I've definitely ordered from them, and they're really great. But like what they do just as a coffee shop is really great. So yeah, it's no wonder why, if you're doing a charity beer or you're making anything that has that you want to be good, you use a good company to do it.
Yeah. And 50% of the profits of the soda would go to support the work of Endometriosis UK. So if you're not sure what endometriosis is, around 1.5 million people assigned female at birth currently suffer and live with endometriosis. So a high-level explanation we have pulled from the Endometriosis UK website is that it's a condition where cells similar to the ones in the lining of the womb are found elsewhere in the body, and monthly these cells react in the same way to those inside the womb, except the blood in this instance doesn't have a way to escape the body. This causes inflammation, pain, and formation of scar tissue, which can impact in ways including chronic pain, fatigue, depression, and isolation, an impact on sex life, the inability to conceive, and difficulty fulfilling work and social commitments. So it's really not a nice condition that quite a lot of people are currently suffering from. So for it to be highlighted, I think, as well, because often like people don't know what that is, and people don't realize that they are suffering from it. So I think that was really interesting that that's what Cloudwater chose to highlight with their soda.
Yeah, and I think the thing about it as well that's like really important is it's one of those like almost invisible.
Yeah,
it's one of those invisible conditions, because a lot of people can suffer from it, but like you don't, like from an outside perspective, like you don't No, I mean, if you're using the example of like, you know, someone getting their period as like, you know, something, you don't always know if someone's having their period unless they're like, hey guys, I'm in pain and
Right.
I'm on my period. Like,
Yeah.
it's that kind of stuff that you just don't see unless someone tells you. And someone can say to you like, oh, I'm just really tired, like I'm exhausted, or I don't feel like going out. And to the outside world, it could just look like they're mildly depressed, or maybe they're just having a bad day, and like people will just be like, oh, stop exaggerating. I think it's one of those things that people go, don't exaggerate, you're fine, just get on with life. And they don't really realize how much the pain is, or the impact that it has on people. Like, I know people that have this, and yeah, it's like they can be fine some days, and then they can just be really shit some other days. And people just basically are like, well, you were fine the other day. So I think, yeah, it's really important to be highlighting something like this.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, they brewed this, obviously, like we said, for International Women's Collaboration Brew Day. Obviously, we've talked about International Women's Collaboration Brew Day numerous times. We've partook in it this year. For high level, for anyone that's not heard any of those episodes, if you're new to us or whatever else, Joe, do you want to give like literally a very quick high level of what that is?
Yeah, so it's usually what happens is breweries will open their doors either to women in the local beer industry, or sometimes as well women in the local beer community, to come in, brew beers with them, learn about what it's like to work in the beer industry, just to really highlight that, you know, like anyone can work in the beer industry. And by going in and seeing people doing that, then and being able to take part, it shows people what they can do. Because you know when you're at school, there's no one telling you could be a brewer.
I wish someone told me when I was at school, like,
yeah,
actually you could go into beer. And then I wish I
was literally
I wish I cared a bit
the
more.
other day, because so I did GCSE, an A level, and a GMBQ in art. And when I went to, we don't call them guidance counselors, but to like
the equivalent of a guidance counselor,
I can't even remember what we call them now, but you know, went to that person and you start talking about what jobs you want to do. I literally got told, oh, I mean, there's not really that many jobs in art.
Harsh.
But I was just like, right. And I went back to like my art teacher, and she was like, are you joking? Like, literally everything in this room was made by an artist. Like, everything has to be designed. Food has to be designed. Buildings have to be designed. Your clothes have to be designed. Like that. All of this is art.
How you look at it, though.
Everything
Everything
you watch on the television, that's art. Everything you go to the cinema or you go to the theatre to watch, all the music, that's art. Like, all of that derives from that. So that's nonsense. But so I ended up in theatre because of that kind of talk. But if you've not got someone, you know, you can go into brewing from science. How many science teachers are going around being, you could be a brewer, you know?
I mean, we've spoken about Rachel before, one of the brewers at Heist, who made our first collab with Heist happen. Literally, she got in from studying science.
Yeah.
And it's just that thing that, like, I don't think you ever think about that when you're studying science or doing any of that, and you just don't think like, oh yeah, this could lead me to beer. I just don't think that it gets like beer as a career gets talked about enough to young people. And I mean, I don't know if like maybe in the US it's because technically you can't drink till you're 21, and realistically by the point that you're in school, like going to uni, you're 18 years old and you can't legally drink till you're 20. Like, of course nobody ever drinks before they're legally allowed to, clearly, but you can't drink until you're 21 there. So like by the time you legally hit the age that you can drink, you've already been at uni for a few years. So no, and no, unless you know someone, I think, in the beer industry, maybe a family member, a friend, or just part of an area where that would be part of the community. Like, I don't think that's something that people would speak to you about and would be on your radar. Maybe it's a bit more common now than like back when I was there growing up, but oh yeah, it's that thing I wish people talk to me about. I don't understand how we managed to like tangent from talking about something as important as endometriosis
Into jobs.
jobs in beer.
Because I was talking about International Women's Collaboration Brew Day.
I know, I just had a moment where I stopped and I was like, how did we get here? I'm not hating it, I'm just saying.
Anyway,
I was
yeah,
like,
both things equally important in their different ways.
Yes, but yeah, we do talk extensively about International Women's Collaboration Brew Day on the numerous times that we've had episodes dedicated to that. So go check those out if you want to learn more about that. And so I think it would be amiss not to call out the fact, date of this episode or not, that Werewolf Beers are literally brewing a blood orange radler this week. They have invited anyone that wants to come out and help them brew. So yeah, so anyone that remembers, we spoke to Polly when she was with Solvay Society, and she is now over at Werewolf Beers, and she has organized this brew. She did a really good series for PMD Awareness Month, where she posted a reflection, I think it was every day, and a photo to go along with it and some words, and it was just some really good stuff. Definitely worth checking out. She's Polly from Belgium on Instagram, so go read those. And yeah, I'm really gutted because it's happening on a weekday, so
Yeah,
I
we couldn't
couldn't
go.
be there.
Otherwise we would have totally been there.
I would have loved to have been there, but I can't. Basically, they're raising awareness and for IAPMD, who research and provide support for premenstrual disorders. So they'll be doing that charity beer for IAPMD. And yeah, I'll definitely, if they sell cans of that, I'll definitely get a can of it, because it would just be really, really good to try.
We need to like go back to Werewolf anyway, and
I still haven't gone because you
well,
went
okay,
and
so
I couldn't go.
I need to go back.
Right.
You need to go.
Go for
and
the
we
first
need to
time.
we need to get Rich and Polly and just do a podcast at the Railway Arch.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really cool in the photos, and I'm just really gutted that
it's really cool.
Go.
If you haven't been to Camden and gone to visit Werewolf Beer, go do it.
And then if you live in London, like, first of all, Camden, even though it can be a bit cheesy at times or whatever, can, you know, have the stereotype to it. Like, Camden is one of my favorite places in London, and it always has been since I moved here. I've always loved going into Camden. So that's obviously like a no-brainer. But like, if you live in London, they're always putting on these kick-ass events as well. They're always doing like films or just different cool events and charity events and everything else. And it's like, it's all on a weekday, because London people basically embrace the weekdays, and us non-London people just have to suffer and watch from afar. So if you can get this beer, check it out. And yeah, definitely we'll put in links to all the resources for the endometriosis stuff as well, just to help raise additional awareness as well. So that is that one. The next one, this is quite a name to say. I'm gonna let you say it, right, because you begin words better.
It's called Let's Eat Pies and Talk About Men's Mental Health, and it is a black and white pepper bitter from McColls Brewery that they did a collaboration with Men's Pie Club and Food Nation.
I like the tagline of Men's Pie Club, which is local guys making pies.
Yeah.
And yeah, 10p from every can of this goes to Men's Pie Club.
Yeah.
What is Men's Pie Club, I hear you ask?
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
They are in the Northeast and they happen once a week. And it's basically where men get together and make pies.
Yeah. Quite literally, it's exactly as you think it is.
It's men making pies.
It is local guys making pies.
It's to combat social isolation and to like get people together. They learn a skill. They get to meet new people. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, a lot of it stems as well from like mental health stuff as well. So it's improving mental health, really. So it's getting people together that would otherwise maybe, So what I really like, if you go on their website, it's for guys who live alone or just feel alone or need an excuse to get out more. So, I mean, that's nice. It's just some people might feel like a bit more reluctant to go out and put themselves out there in that situation. So, well done to them for being like, let's get people together and making pies. I just want to, before I give you some facts. I'm not going to call them fun facts because they are certainly not fun facts at all. It's very serious facts, but I will give you some facts on men's mental health that I've pulled from mentalhealth.org.uk. But before I do that, I want to try this beer.
Mine's very foamy.
Oh, mine is not.
Yeah, mine's got a big old head on it. Smells like a bitter.
Yeah, it smells really nice. Ooh. It's got that like, it's got what I really love when it has like that bready quality to it. Like I just love bready bit. Like I genuinely love bready beers. I don't know why. I think it's just because I love bread. So bready beers, I'm like, yes, like I love it.
Yeah, it's got a nice kind of bready pie pastry.
Yeah, like a pie crust
to it. And then there's just a little bit of spiciness from the pepper. I reckon this would go really well with a pie.
I bet it would. Or like, you know what I'm thinking, because of the breadiness. I'm thinking of like, do you guys get them over here like bread bowls?
Yes.
Where someone's like, you just basically take a bowl and then you hollow out a bowl and then you put soup in it. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan of bread bowls because I just think I'd rather just have the bread. I don't really like soup that much, but that's what this made me think of when you were talking about, like, I bet it would go really good with the pie. And I was like, oh, bread filled with something. And then for some reason I thought a soup bowl.
I reckon a sausage roll would go really well with this.
Oh yeah. I think it is just one of those things that you just have like any like pie crust or like the flaky crust, savory flaky crust would probably just go brilliantly with it.
Yeah.
I wonder though, like because I don't think it says on here.
So 3.6% as well.
Oh yeah, no, that's brilliant as well. Yeah. Very sessionable. So we've worked our way up pretty much. We've gone from like 0 alcohol to 3.6%. But no, I mean it doesn't even say on here that they purposely designed it.
You feel like they must have done though, don't you? Black and white pepper bitter. That feels like it's been designed to go with a pie.
Yeah. It does a bit, yeah. Just to quickly read the back of the label. So it's Men's Pie Club bring guys together on a weekly basis to make, cook and eat pies. The first rule of Men's Pie Club is we talk about Men's Pie Club. And we don't just talk about pies, we talk about loads of things that really matter and things that don't. Food Nation, a Newcastle-based social enterprise, is behind Men's Pie Club. The project was developed in response to the need for increasing levels of social connections and feelings of belongingness for men in the Northeast. So yeah, they're on Instagram at Men's Pie Club, and 10p, I said at the beginning, but 10p of every count is donated to Men's Pie Club. So yeah, oh, here you go. Please drink this beer responsibly. Enjoy it with your favorite pie and a mate. Chat about the flavors, the pies and the weather. We'll put the world to rights. Let's eat pie and talk about men's mental health. So yeah, that's a nice message. So if we're gonna sort of look at the statistics for men and mental health, like I said, I've pulled this all from mentalhealth.org.uk, just a high level of a few things that I'll point out. So in England, around 1 in 8 men has a common mental health problem such as depression, anxiety, panic disorder, or OCD, so obsessive compulsive disorder. It's interesting because I think that there's probably a lot of people that almost don't necessarily correlate like OCD with being a mental health problem. I think people think of that as being like separate.
Yeah.
But it's not. Obviously that can play into, you know, OCD itself can play into
of course.
giving you other mental health disorders as well. So I thought that was like interesting that they made sure to list that as well, because I think you just wouldn't necessarily have thought about that one. So yeah, I mean, it does say here as well. So this was last updated in October of 2021. So obviously this could have changed since, but they do say here, as with many mental health statistics, it's hard to know the figures. If the figures really represent what's happening, they can only tell us about mental health problems that have been reported. And, you know, many cases do go undiagnosed. And they've made a point to say it's especially true when it comes to men's mental health. I do think that there's like a wider conversation we could be having here. However, we are not men, so it's really difficult to have this conversation because we're not the right, just like, you know, when people were like, oh, maybe I'm not the right people to speak about, you know, International Women's Collaboration Brew Day, or, you know, Brave Noise because I'm, you know, cis white male and all that. Like, we're not the right people to have the conversation. But I do think that there is some levels of toxic masculinity that maybe drip into why men do have those struggles with being able to talk about this stuff, and there's like a whole bunch of pressure that I think society puts on them unfairly to be strong and not talk about those things, and just shove it down and get on with your life, and man up, quote unquote, if you can see my air quotes on the video. So again, we're not the right people to really talk about that, but if anyone wants to have a conversation about that, like, I would love to have that conversation, because I do think it is very, very important to have. It's just we probably aren't the right people to lead the conversation. But some more quick facts. So 3 times as many men as women die by suicide. Men aged 40 to 49 have the highest suicide rates in the UK. So again, this was as of October 2021. Men report lower levels of life satisfaction than women, according to government's National Wellbeing Survey, and men are less likely to access psychological therapies than women. Only 36% of referrals to NHS talk therapies are for men. So whether that's because they don't really want to talk about it to get referred, or they don't think they need it, or it's 36% of the referrals being men. That's like shockingly low in my opinion. But also men are far more likely than women to go missing, sleep rough, become dependent on alcohol, and use drugs frequently. So it's lots of statistics there, and then it goes on to say exactly what I kind of said, which is why don't men talk about mental health, which is society's expectation, traditional gender roles, like all these things. So very important conversations to have. I don't know about you, Joe, willing to have those conversations with people if they want to have them on this platform.
And as well, because I know some of these things because of my day job, but as well as Men's Pie Club, which is in the northeast, if you are down south, there is also something called a Talk Club, which was started by a guy, and his best friend committed suicide, and he realized that if him and his friends had just had conversations, they may have been able to prevent that from happening. So he has set up groups where men can just come and talk, and he has there's if you look them up, I believe they are Talk Club on Instagram. They have a little pamphlet, and it's like, get your friends together, have a pint, just have a chat, and help get those feelings out there, because it's not a bad thing to talk about what's happening, and important things, not important things, talk about all of it.
I mean, there doesn't even have to be, there's no pressure on it being like if you don't think I mean, I think it's the same thing for anyone suffering with mental health issues as well. It doesn't have to be something that you think everyone else is going to find important. If it's important to you, it's valid. And you need to talk about, I feel like I could do a whole separate episode on mental health issues, from my personal experiences, those around us. It is very important to talk about. So I mean, I think that was what I thought was quite good when I looked at Men's Pie Club as well, was it was a very relaxed, no pressure, like, come along, if you want to talk, if you don't want to talk, you don't have to. You could talk about anything. It doesn't have to be about mental health. It could just be about pretty much anything, as long as you're getting out. The first step of getting outside your comfort zone and feeling better is to just push yourself to do it, and baby steps, talk about whatever you want, because as long as you're talking, at least you can feel a little bit, hopefully, I think the goal is to feel a little bit less alone just by having a conversation, whatever that conversation is. So I think also saw, in a similar vein, someone had recommended on the so I asked Crafty Beer Girls if there was any, I think I said at the beginning, if there was any resource where I could find all these charity beers, and I didn't really get a resource for them, but I did get a lot of suggestions, one of which, if we're talking again about charities in a similar vein, Sheep and Wolves Clothing. Obviously had Matty on, great dude, great conversation, and he's quite big into the mental health conversation as well. He partnered with Edinburgh Blue Balls to create a lager, and so their group is about men supporting men through weekly sea dips. So they're promoting improvement to mental and physical health at these weekly meetups. So I thought that was an interesting one. I'm not sure if that, if the beer itself goes, if anything, goes to charity per se, if I'm sure something probably does, but I couldn't find it for sale on the Edinburgh Blue Balls group. I just found it on the Sheep and Wolves clothing page, but I know that there was that collaboration there. So yeah, that's that one.
Right, our next one, we have got Cell Repel. And this comes from the Fuck Cancer Beer Project, and it's a collaboration with Burley Oak.
You love Burley Oak, don't you?
I do love Burley Oak. Right, so here, I haven't opened this yet, but I haven't opened it. I just heard you open yours. Did you roll it?
No, I didn't.
I'm going to roll it. I'm going to roll it.
I didn't think to.
Them old smoothie sours, are you supposed to roll them or you're not?
I know. It's been sat there. I think I rolled it at the start and then it's been sat there and I didn't re-roll it.
Let's see what happens.
All right, this brewery ASMR, this non-brewery
ASMR. I did this
ASMR.
the other day and it didn't actually do anything. So to the beer. So we shall see.
I'll just do a fun little swizzle.
This is the
Sorry, Burley Oak.
This is the second set. This was from the second set of beers from the Fuck Cancer Project. The first ones were all imperial stouts, I believe.
Yeah, I believe they were actually
brewed with UK breweries, and the second set was smoothie sours from the US. Now, this was a project started by David Laird in honor of his granddad who battled with cancer. I mean, I feel like we're at the point now where there are very few people who haven't been touched by cancer, and someone in their family has had cancer and they've experienced this, which is not a fun thing to have to say. No. He dreamed up the idea of making this charity beer project that focuses on brewing beer to raise awareness and then donating to cancer charities. I believe
he changes the charities up, to be honest.
I know one was
the first one was, I think, was it the Cancer Trust?
Young Cancer Trust.
Cancer Trust.
Does this one say what this one's going to? Just various cancer causes.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I did have a look, and I'm not 100% positive if it's like if it's like the US beers donate to a different charity, or if he just picks a different charity every so often, or if each different series effectively, because there are multiple series now. So like you said at the beginning, they started off with the UK Imperials. So like I've got one here, and that's the Loch Lomond and Emperors. I've got some of the other ones as well, but this is the first one I could sort of grab.
I think I've drunk most of mine.
I think I had this already once and it was really, really good, and then I was like, I'm going to save the other can of it and see how it tastes with a bit of age. So there's the Loch Lomond and the Emperors. There was also the collaboration with Old Street Brewery. There was Farmyard Ales, and then there was the Tartarus and Twisted Wheel Brewing one, and those were all the imperial stouts. But then there was also a double dry hop New England IPA that was done, that actually both of our names
our names were in it. Did you get a can of that?
I didn't get the can.
No, I didn't.
But I got a label.
Oh, I didn't get either.
A friend had an extra label and very kindly, Adam, thank you so much, very kindly gave me his label. So because he had a few, so he was like,
they also have they have a core range now as well, don't they?
Yes. So I was going to say there was so that was the UK range effectively. The US range was Burley Oak, Drecker, Brewing Project, and Aslan Beer Co. So we got ours from Brew Export, who we've also spoken to, and we got glasses. We got the 4-pack, and they came with a glass. I got the Brewing Project glass,
and I got the Burley Oak glass.
So I mean, I've drank 2 of mine already. The only one I've got left, the only ones I've got left are the Cell Repel, and I love it. It says get rid of those pesky cells.
This is the only one I've got left.
And I've got Drecker as well, the double fruit smooth sour, the Zuck Cancer.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure which one. I didn't drink either of them because I couldn't remember which one you had, and I was like, have to save one. So excited.
I drank them already. This is amazing. So it's
it's one of the only sours more recently in the last, like, when I say more recently, I drink a lot of sour. So maybe in the last like few weeks, like let's say month, to make me involuntarily pucker.
Yeah, there's a real pucker to it. So it's just like your favorite childhood sandwich. I mean, questionable. This fruited sour is packed full of jammy raspberries, creamy peanut butter and fluffy marshmallow, bringing all your favourite memories into one can. Now, I'm not a peanut butter and jelly
I love peanut butter
sandwich
jelly.
fan, but I will drink it in a beer and it's absolutely gorgeous. It does make you it's really puckering. There is lovely jammy raspberry, and then there's like a little bit of nuttiness in the back. I love it.
I think people will probably recognize the Dream series anyways, and that's what this one is.
J-R-E-A-M.
J-R-E-A-M. I just call it Dream.
I think those are the best ones that Burley Oak do, personally.
But I mean, the only thing I'm going to contest with this is like, I love peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Big peanut butter and jelly fan. This is an American brewery, and they've given me raspberries. Where is my grape jam?
Oh, do you like?
We do grape jam. We do grape.
No, I'm a raspberry
Concord jam. Grape jam. I'm raspberry over here. I'm team raspberry. No, I'm team strawberry actually over here, probably.
Oh, no.
I love strawberries. So I'm team strawberry over here. I'll take the raspberry. That's fine. Never a marmalade. I am never a marmalade person. I'm like, get out.
If I want orange, I'll have orange curd, but you don't see that very often. It's a bit specialty.
I'm good. I am good. All set with that. Not having it. But if this is meant to be a US classic, it should be Concord grape and not strawberry.
Really?
But I'm not being picky because it's for a good cause. So, you know, it is what it is. Lovely. But it is, it's really nice. If I'm being honest, it is really nice. And I do get like the raspberry, but like it is quite tart, mouth puckering tart. And there is that complexity if you get it and you kind of immediately go, oh, that is tart fruit, very raspberry. And then you do get a little bit of the nuttiness, but I think like the vanilla, the way the marshmallow comes through is very vanilla. And it's like, for me, I really pick up the vanilla in that. And that's interesting because with such strong tart flavors, like that jammy raspberry, I'm surprised that it comes through so distinctly as it is for me. Cause I would have thought that vanilla would be lost.
I don't get a lot of the marshmallow, but I get creamy peanut butter when I breathe out.
I agree that the peanut butter is more sort of like the exhale piece of it, and maybe a bit of like the linger.
That's in the old retro nasal there.
But for me, it is 100% like jam first and foremost, very tart jam first and foremost. And then this like layer of vanilla comes through, and it's just really interesting because it just...
I want to go make a peanut butter sandwich.
Not overpowered. It's great.
I'm being influenced by a can of beer.
Oh, like the peanut butter is just sticking with me as well. It's like really, really nice. It's
like lingering there, and I'm like, I'm gonna go make myself a peanut butter sandwich. I've got Skippy.
Oh god, yeah. Well, to be fair, I'm used to UK peanut butter now, which is like lower. There's like less sugar in it.
Yeah, that's why I buy Skippy.
Yeah, you can get it at Costco. You need that Costco.
I can get it at Morrison's. Thank you.
You can get a big mega jug of it at Costco. Like
Morrison's now do the big jar. Like, it's not just a little jar, it's the bigger jar. They do like the big old tubs.
I'll take a photo of like the
big old tub.
The big old tub of it.
I mean, peanut butter, like I've loved peanut butter my entire life. There are points where I think my brother actually lives off of peanut butter sandwiches. But I did live off of peanut butter and graham crackers several points during my...
When I was a kid, that was my snack. That was my jam.
During my cruise ship career... There will be times where it's just like, the food is not happening. It's not that great. Where's my peanut butter and crackers? Always have a stash of cereal and peanut butter and crackers.
That was literally like, as a kid, that was like my jam. That was my snack, was graham crackers and peanut butter. My grandfather used to have like graham crackers and milk. I was very much like graham crackers and peanut butter. I always say that if I was allergic to peanut butter, I'd be fucked because I'd literally be like, EpiPen to hand, I'm having it.
If
like,
I develop
it's not
a peanut allergy. No, it'd be
the
same level as if Gordon became lactose intolerant.
I'd be like, take the wheel. Like, I'm just gonna get my EpiPen ready and see what happens. Like, let's play a game of peanut butter roulette. Like, I love peanut butter that much that I'd just be so sad. But yeah, peanut butter and graham crackers as a kid. And then that's like, now when I go back to the US, as we discussed in a separate episode, like it's really difficult to get people, like you don't really get graham crackers over here.
Yeah.
I have to have my parents like smuggle it in when they come visit, or I sort of stash it away and bring it with. But then the problem is I do exactly with those what I do with my beer, which is like, I want to save it for the right moment to have it at the right time, because maybe I don't know when I'm going to want s'mores. So I just need to hold on to it. And then what happens is like, I keep them so long that they go a bit soft
Oh
and stale, and
no,
it's like,
that's
I
sacrilege.
know.
I tried to make my own graham
Waste
crackers
it.
when I came over. I found a recipe.
Can you do that? Is that like,
Well,
can you like, are you like, I
no.
made my own graham crackers? I'm like, can you? Can you? Is that a thing?
No, because they were really soft. Like they were crispy, but they were kind of like soft crispy rather than like, you know, our graham crackers a bit harder.
Yeah.
They weren't the
Crunch.
right.
There's a crunch. Like,
Yeah,
if
there's
you
a
need to have a
crunch,
crunch
and
to
these
it.
were kind of a.
Oh, that's a bit sad.
I was like,
isn't it?
oh, I mean, I
Like
don't know if maybe I
crumbly.
did them. Yeah, they were kind of crumbly, and they kind of spread quite a lot, which I didn't expect. Like I kind of expected them.
Just
Not to
don't think
spread
you
so
can
much.
make graham crackers. Like, I just think that as an individual,
Well, I mean, I discovered that.
as an individual, it's not you personally, but as
No.
a solo individual that doesn't own a factory
I'm
with
quite good at
lots of
baking.
like, with lots of like fake ingredients and everything else to put into it, like
Preservatives and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I did not successfully make what I wanted.
That's like when they're
with
like,
the
oh, you can
recipe.
make these really healthy, all natural, like Snickers bars, and they're like, you just do this and you use dates and stuff. And so I'm like, it's
No.
not a fucking Snickers though, is
No,
it?
That's
It's not a
true.
Snickers.
I've also tried making crumpets.
Oh,
Those are too hard as well. Just go by the Warburton's ones.
I thought you were going to be like, actually, they came out right. Like, those are also too hard.
Twice. I've tried twice. Both times I was like, no, I'm just going to go by Warburton's. Thank you very much.
If we tangent back slightly before coming all the way back around, let's like take a step back in our tangent to peanut butter and jelly. You guys never had like Uncrustables over here, did you?
What's that?
Oh my!
Is it like Lunchables?
Word? No, it's not like
No?
Lunchables. Oh, how do you even Uncrustables? So Smuckers, which makes like they make
jam,
US jelly, jam.
Yeah.
And they do strawberry or grape. They made these things called Uncrustables. I fucking, especially as a late teenager to an early 20-year-old, especially if you've been drinking, these are fucking great. They are sandwiches where it's like the crust has been cut off of it, and there's like the peanut butter and jelly, and it's like full of peanut butter and jelly.
Right.
And then it's almost like with a pie, I don't know how the word.
Oh, so they've like crimped,
but it's like
the
sealed.
edges.
Yeah, it's like crimped all the way around. On this bread, and then it's like frozen, which is probably not good because there's probably like lots of preservatives in it to make sure that it can stay frozen and be okay.
Yeah.
And then basically what you do is like when you want one, you just take one out and then you either let it defrost or you can have it partially frozen, and it's really actually not that bad. And then I've also heard from people that you can like make, this is like, I've never tried it myself, but I've heard from people, you can make French toast with it.
Oh.
So it's like a loaded French toast. Which, eggy bread, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. But
your French toast is sweet.
Better.
No.
Oh, sorry, I was just gonna go for it. I thought we were at the same time. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. Better.
No, I'm a savory.
Oh, I read the cue wrong.
I'm a savory eggy bread person, I'm afraid. French toast doesn't do it.
I feel like we just need to do an episode that doesn't even have beer, where we just drink beer and we just debate food topics. Because can I just say, breaking news, ding ding ding. Asked Rick Oreo, biscuit or cookie.
What did he say?
And he was like, well, I'd call it a biscuit. And I was like, why would you call it
That's
a biscuit?
what I said, isn't it?
I said, why would you call it a biscuit? And he went, well, because it's a bit more crispy. Because when I think cookie, I think it's a bit more doughy. And I was like, you British people.
There you go.
You actual British people.
You thought I was being mad. The British way.
I was like, I don't understand. And then he was like, well, because it's not doughy enough. It's crunchy. It's crispy. It's a biscuit. And I was like,
I was right.
What? So yeah, I know that was a total tangent away, but like Uncrustables were great. Okay. And we just need to have a whole episode just food talk where it's nothing even about beer. It's just food debates. Send us your hot take food debates and let us
Brew Podcast
battle it out
at gmail.com. Let us know if you want to see the battle of the foodstuffs on a Women's Brew Podcast.
I feel like this, to be fair, let's go back around, because I feel really bad that we're like tangenting on an episode that's about charities and really important serious ones. So we do take these seriously. This is not a joke. No. It's hard when you're drinking something so delicious to not talk about like what it tastes like.
It literally is peanut butter and jelly or jam.
It's really good. But yeah, back to the fuck cancer beers and their range. I've spoken to David, like he's super nice guy. He's really trying his best to make this, successful charity that gives back to the right places. And he's just a really good dude. And the beers are really, really good. Like all
beers are
the
good.
stouts I had were bangers. The smoothie sours I had were bangers. I've not tried his core range, admittedly, yet. But that's just more because I've not been buying. I'm trying not to buy beers when they're not for a podcast or for something specific. So I've not tried those yet. So we'll see if I come across them. Even if I'm not buying beers, I'll probably still buy one. But yeah, I mean, you can go on his website. We'll link the website. You can get merch. You can just donate if you just want to donate and you don't even want the beers. I think you can still get the US smoothie sours on the website at the moment.
A few bottle shops had them as well, so check your local bottle shops.
Confirmed, you can get them. And they're on discount as well, so you can get a 4-pack of the Impy Stouts for £22 at the moment, or you can get a 4-pack of the US ones for £28 at the moment. So they are
bargain.
I know, massive barg. Or the core range, the 4-pack, 18 quid. So there's that. There's t-shirts. The Nipa with our names on it is £4.50. So go check that out. And I actually saw, while we're in the process of discussing sort of the charity, because he's put on events as well, he's released he's done like release events for these beers and just worked really hard to get them launched across the UK, really. And he also announced back in May that they would be at the Midsummer Beer Happening. The beer would be served at the Midsummer Beer Happening, and that was a beer festival, effectively, from what I can tell, which was based in Stonehaven in Scotland. And I think it just happened this past weekend, actually. And they raised 65 grand for local charities.
Ooh,
so well done. And if you're thinking of going, it looks like it happens yearly from everything that I could see through a quick peruse of their Twitter. I think it's been going since like 2014 or something like that. But if you're looking at going to Scotland in the summer, definitely plan it around there. If you're looking at basically the breweries that were involved in this, it was 6 Degrees North had beers there, 71 Brewing, Cromarty, I'm just like skimming through the Fuck Cancer beers, their Fierce with their New Barns, Overtone, just trying to call it the ones I think people will probably be most familiar with, Vault City, and then like a few that I haven't heard of. And then there were some that were not sort of like Scottish breweries or anything, but you had like a beer from Polly's and from Wylam and from Burning Sky and Dea and Track, and Pilot had a beer that was there even though they're Scottish. So I just don't think they had as many bits there. There's a whole cask bar, a cider bar, there was a kombucha bar. So yeah, there was lots of interesting stuff there. So yeah, if you're looking at something to do next June and you want to go to Scotland, plan it around that, because that looks like there's some absolute bangers there. So yeah, and I guess, I mean, if we're going through really quickly charity breweries and events separate to this that are kind of still relevant at the moment, obviously we've discussed Better World Brewing before, which is the one that help endangered species. We've talked about Brew Gooder, which does the water charities in the impoverished countries. Queer Brewing Co. I'm fairly certain we've probably talked about Queer Brewing Co. as well. Proud Beer, which is the one that's on my list of beers to get, but it's really hard because you have to buy bigger packs, and it's really hard to justify buying a bigger pack of something when I'm just like, I just want a few. Haven't found anyone to really split it with that doesn't incur me like sending them to you, for example. There's I've been told about Colour Coats Brewery, which donates 3p from every pint sold to the RNLI, which is the Royal National Lifeboat Institution. I recently saw on a Facebook page Spookton Brew Co., which seems to be a new-ish brewery that's contract brewing. They are based in Northwest England, and they donate 5p of each can or pint to a charitable cause. I went on their website. I couldn't see what charity in particular they were donating to at the moment. So I'm not sure if it's one of those things that it looked like you could pre-order the beers, and I'm just not sure if it had been declared yet, or if it was somewhere and I just missed them. But watch that space, because that some of them look, there's a few out there, they look interesting. So it'll be interesting to try for sure. And then there's Ignition Brewery, which I particularly love. It's a South London brewery employing and training people with learning disabilities for the beer industry. So I hadn't heard of them, and we got a message in beer guides in the city.
Thanks, Joey.
Joey messaged and said, have you heard of this one? And I was like, no. And I looked it up, and as I was looking it up, I was like, oh my god, that's amazing that they employ and train people with learning disabilities for like basically it's all sort of aspects of it's brewing beer, it's like serving, it's really cool. So it's one that we might have mentioned before and I just completely forgot about, because it sounded familiar when I looked into it, but it's definitely one that I want to try now for sure, because that sounds really good. So
yeah,
there's loads more. This is not an extensive list. It was just ones that people specifically mentioned, and I wanted to just call out the ones that were specifically mentioned to me. So I forgot to say as well, because I pulled this one out of my fridge. If anyone's like in the Berkshire area at all, there was also, I forgot about this one. So it's something to look forward to. So that is a single hop session pale that one of my local shops, The Hive, did with Disruption is Brewing, which is like the craft leg of Ascot Brewing. So something to look forward to is a charity founded by one family affected by cancer to improve the lives of thousands of other families with cancer across the UK. Every time you buy a can of this passion fruit and pineapple pale ale treat, you help raise money that goes towards free gifts and experiences for all these families. Thanks for your support. And it looks like there is sort of a website, which is something to look forward to .org.uk, so worth checking out. And if you are near Ascot Brewing, which is in Camberley, or if you're near there, you'll be near the Hive as well, you can still pick up cans of these. So I just wanted to plug that because I remembered I had one in my fridge, so I was like, definitely one while we're talking about cancer charities, that's worth mentioning. So now we're moving on to the chunkiest boy of them all.
Left this one till the end.
Yeah. For a reason, because this is a hefty 10% anti-imperial stout.
It's Mavka from Siren.
It's the collaboration. Varvar. It's their collaboration with Varvar. I had it last year. Well, I think it was last year. I don't know. I've lost track of the years. And this was pre the Ukrainian stuff going on in the world. It was just their collaboration. Oh my god, she was filling. It was a filling beer.
We're going straight in.
Oh yeah,
Tori is not stopping.
Don't look back, never surrender.
Thick 3 C's.
Oh yeah, I've got my 3 C's glasses, my Caribbean chocolate cake glass. That's why I decided to have it in, because it is, I'm expecting to be 3 C's.
Spill it.
The head on it is like gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Holds very well. Like, I'll say that.
I've got a big old thick brown head. It's not even tan. Like that is brown.
Oh yeah, no, that's full on like latte is what I would call that. Latte.
It's a nice dark brown.
It's like roasty. There's almost a bit of smokiness to it and some nuttiness to it.
Dark chocolate.
But a bit boozy. Like it's like you can almost tell it's a bit boozy.
Yeah.
So basically we picked this one to represent sort of the drinkers of drinkers for Ukraine.
Oh dear. That does not taste 10%.
No, it doesn't. It's a bit lethal, isn't it?
That is a bit dangerous.
It's very smooth. It's surprisingly smooth for being so boozy.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was I'm not actually sure of this one in particular. Yeah, it is. So this one is released for drinkers for Ukraine. It's just I know. So basically, I don't know. Do you want to give the high level of what drinkers for Ukraine is?
Right. So drinkers for Ukraine. It was a group set up after the Ukraine crisis, which frankly, why is that still going on? Like
there aren't enough words, and that's why I feel like I'm not a keep politics out of beer person by any means, but I just feel like there isn't enough words in the world to express how I feel about it. So there's just no point in, not that there's no point in talking about it. It's like, let's focus on the charity because I can't say enough about my feelings on that.
Yeah. So Drinkers for Ukraine set up in solidarity with friends and colleagues living in the Ukraine. to raise funds for the Red Cross humanitarian relief effort following the Russian invasion in February 2022. There are various different ways that breweries, beer drinkers, cider drinkers, whiskey drinkers, spirit drinkers, everybody could get involved.
Bars, pubs.
Everyone could get involved. And the one that we're highlighting today is brewing a beer and selling it, and then giving some proceeds to the Red Cross fund. They could also do online auctions, do fundraising, live streams, etc. There was much like Brave Noise, there was a recipe put out if people wanted to use a recipe that used flavors from the Ukraine. So it was a regular beer recipe, but they added beetroot because that is a flavor from Ukraine. And I mean, if you put it in a dark beer as well, I don't know, have you ever heard about putting beetroot in chocolate cake?
Yeah, I have heard of it. I've never tried it because it's never been something I've wanted to try, because beetroot is very specific and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's quite earthy, but if you put it with chocolate, it actually enhances the chocolate flavor. So
so I'm told.
So we're told. I did buy us because you can call this beer like anti-imperial stout or resist. I did buy, Tori's got the bottle there if you want to flash it for the video. When I went to the Thanet Easter Beer Festival, I grabbed us both one of these. That's a big boy 750ml bottle.
That's why we haven't cracked this one. Yep. We've cracked the Varvar, which we've cracked the Mavka because we've got a few of those. So it's like we can manage that.
That was brewed in collaboration with a few Thanet breweries, brewed that one. And that one has got the beetroot in it, but because that is a big boy and we've both got one, we decided to just go with the Mavka from Siren. And a lot of the breweries that have done it have actually done collaborations with Varvar, who are quite a well-known Ukrainian brewery to us here in the UK. I mean, if you hadn't heard of them before, you have now.
Yeah. I managed to pick up beers from Siren because they had got a drop from Varvar as well.
What happened was they managed, one of the distributors managed to get the last of Varvar's beers out of the Ukraine, and then have sold them. And obviously they'd paid Varvar for them, so they'd got the money that they hadn't lost on that brewery, on that brew. And so then various different places were selling them. I got a few from.
You got some from Siren, and you might have got some from somewhere else, but
yeah, I got some from Siren. But Varvar have got some excellent beers. Just here, I've got a Goes. They did an export, foreign export stout, huge range of beers. So if you still see anywhere with some Varvar beers, go in and grab those because that will help as well. But there are lots of different breweries doing either the anti-imperial stout or beers with Varvar or beers that are just raising money for the humanitarian effort. I believe that Full Circle did a golden ale.
Yep, I've got it pulled up. They collaborated with Varvar. They've done a golden ale. You can't buy that anymore on their website anyways. It's definitely sold out. But they've done their interpretation. People, so. Yeah, they did their interpretation of the Ukrainian gold ale style. It says, brought the softness and balance from my usual pale ale and used a new yeast. And yeah, they've collaborated directly with Varvar for that. And then another one that I pulled open that I just had up the top of my head was First and Last Brewery. They did Resist. They did a Resist as well, which was they did a stout, which I thought was really interesting because they normally do like lots of like their stuff's normally more foraged, and I don't think I've really seen them do like a proper stout like that before. And I mean, they very well might have, and it's just that's not what I know them for. So I was really interested to see if they were going to do like a twist to that, but they've gone with the anti-imperial stout, and I think that's like really interesting. So I was thinking of trying to get my hands on that as well. So yeah, they've added there's an addition of organic Northumberland grown beetroot. So that's one that I definitely want to try to get for sure.
If you want to see what breweries have participated on the Drinkers for Ukraine website, which I'll put in the show notes, there is a list of breweries that have taken part, and they are literally all over the world.
Yeah, it's a global initiative, which is like Brave Noise. It's global, and it's just a really good thing that everyone's coming together. And I mean, it's what's in their power to do, isn't it? It's like there's very few things that people are empowered to be able to do in this situation. So anything that they can do is what they're trying to do. So I think it's I mean, a lot of them are quite, they've done collaborations. So this Siren one, okay, there's no beetroot in it or anything like that, but that's because it's a recipe that they sort of originally brewed in 2018 with Varvar, and they remain close with them. And a lot of breweries had a fairly close relationship with Varvar. So to them, it's like, oh, a member of our family is hurting. What can we do? So okay, let's do what we know how to do. Let's brew beer and make money for charity, basically. So yeah. It's a good one. I think I said to you, like, I've had the Varvar, the Mavka collab with Varvar. So it was really good, and it was just like super boozy. But it was one of those ones that is like, we had a can between me and Rick, and it was like by the end of it, you were just like, I'm full.
Yeah.
And that was like the perfect, like half a can was the perfect amount. So it's going to be interesting finishing this, but it is a bit lethal because it's so smooth and easy to drink.
Yeah, it's really smooth. Does not taste 10%. This one. So buy it, drink it, but it'll knock your socks off. So be a bit careful.
It's so like full and creamy, but it's not doing that thing of like coating your mouth in a syrupy way.
Yeah, it's not cloying, is it?
Which is quite surprising because I feel like beers of these characteristics tend to have that syrupiness to it, and it just doesn't. And that's what makes it even easier to drink. Because I think at least sometimes when it's like so thick and syrupy, like you can at least slow down a bit because you're like, I need to take every sip like little at a time. This one's just so easy to drink. It's really lovely.
Highly recommend. And also, you're doing it for an excellent cause.
Yes, so it's all revenue from this beer will be donated towards the campaign as well. So it's not even like a percentage, they're donating like sort of all the profits they're getting from it, which is good. I think it's nice when breweries do that. So yeah, so I guess just to name some final charities that's been brought to our attention more recently, what people have shared with me in the crafty beer group, crafty beer girls group, for example. So like Beartown Brewery, it looks like they sort of regularly work with Animals Asia. White Brew and True did say that they were brewing an amber ale with heritage malts, and 100% of the profits were going to Fair Share Southwest. And I've seen that's a charity fighting food waste and food poverty issues by redistributing surplus food across the region. I think it's part of like a wider network.
There are fair shares all around. I know Girl Guardian have done a partnership with them recently, and I've definitely heard them during my day job where I work for a homelessness charity. So
yeah, the name sounded familiar, and then when I started to like read about it, I was like, okay, I think I've actually heard of this before. So that's a really good one. Lost and Grounded held an event raising money for Street Vet, and they also had the cans you could buy, those funky dog labels that I love. I saw it I think it was last year I saw it as well, and I was like, there's dogs all over it, I love it. And yeah, so that charity provides vet care and services of pets to people experiencing homelessness in the UK. I think I mean, you'll probably know this more than I will, but I believe I read somewhere before as well, like a lot of the reason why some people choose to be on the streets and sleep rough is because a lot of the places that they could go to will not take their pets in. And well, really if you don't own a pet, it's probably easy for you to say, so just give your dog up then, or give it to somewhere else because a life on the street is no life at all, blah blah blah. Like, hear that argument all the time. If it's your dog and that is your family member, that would be to some people like saying, why don't you just like let your child go live somewhere else because it's better for your child and then you can go into a shelter. Like, it's not as easy as just give my pet up. So I think that's really brilliant that there is this charity that are helping those people out, because those people have probably made a difficult decision to be like, I would rather stay with my dog. So yeah, it's
that one's really difficult because often it's like buildings with single rooms and there's no outdoor space, so it's difficult to take in dogs and things. But we really like it at Christmas because the usually Dogs Protection send us some stuff. so that the residents can give their, like, we've got one project where we've got a little bit of outside space outside, so we can house people who have dogs, and the dogs protection sends us stuff, and then they can give their dogs Christmas presents.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
It's so lovely every year.
That is really sweet. But yeah, so that's, I mean, I think that's great they're drawing attention to that as well, because I think, like I said, it's easy for someone to say, why don't you just give your dog up then? And it's one thing to say it when you have no connection to that, it's another to have to go through that, to be honest. And then obviously Lost and Grounded, we know, did the Brave Noise collaboration with We Are Beer for their festival beer.
And get that if you go to any of the We Are Beer festivals.
I feel like I was trying to be like, there's so many like big there's a lot of big charities or big umbrellas. Like I said, you know, you've got the Drinkers for Ukraine, which is a big umbrella, like the Fuck Cancer beers, that's sort of like moving across the globe and taking more people on. And I was like, I could mention Brave Noise a few hundred more times, but I also felt like I was like, hold back, because there's other things that maybe need that light as well as this, but we talk about that a lot, so I was like, hold back. But Lost and Grounded also did the Brave Noise beer, so, and it's delicious, and you should have it. Abbeydale also said they collaborated with Queer Brewing and Out and About in Sheffield on their Unbeliever Grapefruit Sour, so 10p per pint was donated to Say It. They've said it's only available on keg at the moment, unfortunately, but I did look, and Say It provides support to young LGBTQ plus identifying people and those that support them. There's so many, so when I looked into this charity as well, there was like so many things that I could say were like amazing things to shout out about it, but I thought we'll just, if we can, I don't know, Joe, I'm overcommitting you here, but if we can just post the link to, I've saved all these links, if you can just post the links to all these charities for people to check out.
Don't delete this script, because normally you delete the script. Don't delete this one.
I do normally delete them when we're done, but I will also put all the links that I haven't actually put up there for you, and then you can just copy paste across. But yeah, Say It seemed like they were doing like some really, really amazing stuff in that space as well, so I feel like that is worth you checking out for yourself as well. It's really great. And then Abbeydale also said that they'll be brewing a dry hopped pale on cask with a local Sheffield charity called Roundabout, where 10p of every pint is donated to that charity. So
amazing, excellent
efforts, people. I said this is by no means even close
to a scratching the surface here.
This was just like everything we could fit into one episode, and I've mainly, like I said, just based it on recommend things I either already knew or recommendations that people have given me. So I was like, call out all those. I wanted to name as many as we could, like we did with some of our other episodes, where I wanted to name as many people doing the right thing as possible, but we're still limited on time and on my ability to do Googling when I have a work day, so brain not work good. So yeah. Anything else that you want to add to this discussion, Joe? What's your favorite beer of the night? What was your favorite charity of the night?
I'm not picking a charity.
I know you really can't. I was gonna say you really can't pick a charity. I was like favorite beer, and then I was like, oh, let's politicize it. Let's go charity. They're all great.
Yeah, they're all great. I'm really enjoying the sale Repel. I'm Burley Oak fangirl though, so that's good. I think the Cloudwater soda is a pretty good soda. And Mavka's just dangerous.
It's dangerous. It is really dangerous. And the Let's Eat Pies one as well. That one is so sessionable, but I feel like the trouble I had was I didn't finish that can. I skipped it so that I could go back to it later. And now the problem is it's just going to be, because it's so good at what it is. Roll. But I think because it's so good at what it is compared to these really powerful flavors, I'm just afraid I'm going to be like, no, I've ruined it by drinking too many different things and then go back to it.
No, it'd be fun. It needs a sausage roll though.
It does need a snack for sure though, because it will just pair so well.
It's a pairing with snacks beer, definitely.
Yeah, if you want a good snacking beer to get you snacking and talking, that's the
beer
one.
For you.
That is the one.
Pretty sure it's still available.
It is, yeah. I've seen it in numerous places.
They shouted it out a download the other week as well, didn't they?
Yeah, you said that. You said that. I also saw people doing a wall of death to the Venga Boys. So, I mean, we can't vouch for everything happening at download, but that is one thing we can vouch for. I got ours from Elusive. They had cans, so always look for your guest beers at your locals. So
yep.
Cool. Well, that concludes that, Jo. Do you want to give your plugs?
I can do.
Where can people talk to you about charities?
If you want to talk to me, I've got a lot of fingers in different charities, actually. So if you want to talk to me about charities, I love beer learning on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Pinterest. I also have a website which has got all my lovely beer school stuff on it. If you want to learn about, what makes a black and white pepper bitter, how did they do that? Come and learn with me at Love Beer Learning. And the website is lovebeerlearning.co.uk. And we also have an email address, which is lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. If you would like to email me or ask me silly questions about things, I'll probably answer. And Tori, if people want to speak to you, where can they speak to you?
Yeah, you can just find me on Instagram at adventures_in_optimism. You can talk to me about charities or just, Beetroot. No, maybe not, because I can't really commit a lot to that conversation. But you can talk to me about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or charities. Yeah, Uncrustables. If you want to debate me on food topics, definitely come find me on there. And if you want to submit your controversial food takes for us to debate over, or it could be controversial beer takes, whichever, you can send those in to a woman's brew podcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
So
a woman's brew on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter is now the podcast. Go enjoy.
It is indeed. And on that note, let's go enjoy these beers. It's been a long day.
Cheers.